Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jasmine, also known as the Psychic Mummy. My business is Jasmine's Eternal Circle. Today I'm going to be talking about ghosts, poltergeists, and also impressions. These are three things that seem to get very well, I feel very well mixed up a lot. First of all, if your house is haunted, maybe just see if there's an issue going on with piping, heating, etc., etc. First, it might just be the house. I say that because I've been to so many places now that have had apparent ghosts, and not so much. Um, Only because it's more to do with what we call an impression. An impression is a memory that is left on a home. Um, so, say someone walking up along and down your hallway. Okay, this could be a memory. It could be a memory that belongs to the house, right? It's energy that stayed in the house for a long time. It hasn't been cleaned, it hasn't been cleared. Energy doesn't move out of a house just magically, right? Energy needs to be cleaned and cleared when you move into a new place, into a new house, into an abode, apartment, whatever, what have you. It's very important to remember that, okay? And the energy doesn't just magically shift and wander off with the person that's leaving. Yes, most of it does, but there's still pieces that are left behind, and such pieces are memories. Okay, so memories of walking up and down the hallway. You could have memories of hearing people shouting in the house, or laughter, or tinking of glasses. Okay, these are all memories. Not necessarily ghosts. Okay, ghosts are a little bit more different. Okay, um, for me, when I'm dealing with ghosts, for the most part, um, their energy comes in a little bit more stronger than, say, an impression does. Only because of the fact that they're able to feed off the energy of those that are around them in order to be able to manifest a little bit more concrete wise, energy wise. Also, they're more they're more stable in presence, whereas a memory, it kind of comes in and out. Ghosts, not so much. Ghosts, they tend to just kind of linger on, and then they stay there and stay there and stay there and stay there, and it's a constant ongoing, constant going on. Memories are kind of like more of an on and off deal, um, and they don't leave like the feeling of being watched. Okay, ghosts tend to give you that feeling of being watched. Okay, although sometimes that can be your spirit guides too. You just have to ask your intuition, like, is that a spirit guide or is that a ghost, right? So I mean, use your intuition, use your feelers for that one. For the most part, though, houses hold memories. Okay, just like how our physical body and our mind holds memories, it's no different. Okay. Poltergeists, on the other hand, or as we some of the community calls angry ghosts. Okay, angry, so angry. Okay, these poltergeists, they have either really had bad tendencies in that this lifetime that they had. So we're looking at anywhere between murderers, rapists. We also have those that have taken their own lives as well. They're angry about that, or people that have been um, dealt a sad hand in death, such as being murdered. Okay, so these very high traumatic experiences can leave poltergeists around. Once again, very rare does that occur. Um, when it does, it's something to be like, Ooh, yeah, you might want to take care of that one. The other thing too is I'm noticing is the use of smoke. So whether it be sage, cedar, what have you, whatever type of smoke that you use for clearing. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, if it turns black, it's negative energy." Not necessarily, it's negative energy. Okay, I'm not. No, it's either the energy in that particular spot is stagnant, or you've got an open doorway in there. Okay, it's not a nasty entity standing there staring you down. Okay, it's probably stagnant energy, which can make the room feel kind of funky. Okay, or you've got a doorway in there, or what I call portals, which need to be closed down psychically, or with a heck ton of intent of I want this shut down and out of my house. Okay, ghosts, they will usually, if you tell them to leave, they will leave. All right. Poltergeists, not so much. Poltergeists will stick around, and they love to feed off fear. They love to feed off fear and anger, very much like, say, some other entities do. Okay, I'm choosing my words carefully here, only because I know that there's some people in the community that have different views on things, but there are entities out there that have the same kind of thing where they feed off fear and anger, and that helps them gather that energy source to be able to materialize a little bit more quicker. It's the same idea as poltergeist. You feed into fear and you feed into anger. The poltergeist is going to feed off that energy in order to be able to continue to do what they are doing. Okay? Impressions are easy to clean. Okay? Just spray it down with some Windex. I'm joking. But more like spray it down with some, I don't know, some holy water if you got some. If you're inclined, you can use cedar, sage, incense of whatever you're choosing. Okay, sage is appropriate if you have it blessed by an elder. It is appropriate if you know that you are using it and you are giving thanks to earth. Okay, those are the only circumstances where it's okay to use sage. Only circumstances. If you're not sure with that, check with an elder. Okay, if you are using sage, go to an elder, get it blessed. Okay, just so that way it's not being used inappropriately. You can use Palo Santano. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts with that one, just because of the material and the resource that comes from. Personally, I like to stick to Dragon's Blood. Dragon's Blood is probably the easiest one to use and to handle. It smells good too. Cedar is good as well. You need to really make sure that your cedar is wrapped tight in order to use it, so that way you don't have any spark issues. Yeah, spark issues. Unless you get like cedar incense sticks, then I guess that could work too. But holy water you can use by speaking intent. And I would probably speak the intent over the water, I don't know, a good 5, 6, 7 times, as much as you feel is needed, before spritzing that around your house. You can also use salt water too. Salt water because salt is a purifier. Okay? Ghosts are pretty easy to deal with, like I said. Just ask them to leave. If you feel that they are bugging you, ask them to leave. Just make sure that it is a ghost and not something important that is meant for you, like a spirit guide. As far as other things go on in the house, entity-wise, okay, we are dealing with entities. My experience is that they can be quite attached to the person that is living in the home. Um, and usually they come about either being because of energy shifts, because your home's not well protected against certain energies, because there's someone in the house that is ill, or they're being sent. Okay? Or there is a possibility that someone in your household is opening doorways while they sleep. That too. That's always fun. So there you have it. That's a little thing about entities. Sometimes they just show up. Some people have no problem working with entities. I, on the other hand, I don't have time to work with entities in my home. They are too chaotic for the energy that I need to be working with right now. I just can't. I cannot work with them. And I'm more of a light worker anyways, and half the entities that I've run across have not been very friendly ones. Now, most of them I've been able to be like, okay, you don't belong here now, scoot, go away. Other ones, not so much. The ones that I have dealt with in other people's homes have been very malicious and been very, very aggressive. They were talking about sharp, pointy teeth, claws, poison, all that stuff. I've actually come home with quite a few war wounds, spiritually and physically. It can manifest, it can happen. The thing about that is when you're dealing with entities, it might be a good idea, because if you're working on entities the first time around and you're not too sure how to deal with it, is to call someone who knows how to deal with them. Don't go researching it online and go, oh, let's do this, let's do that. You might pee it off a little bit too much, because each entity has its own way of being escorted out of your home. Okay? Not every entity can be escorted out the same way. There's no way. Each entity is an individual, just like how each ghost is their own individual, and just like how each person is their individual. Okay? Each entity is its own individual. Therefore, you need your own ways or different ways to deal with different entities. So, with that being said, for your own sake of mind, make sure that you do your research on the people that you are going to be bringing into your home to remove said entity or poltergeist or what have you, okay? Not one method is going to be the cure-all, okay? There might have to be a couple of tries, there might have to be a couple different people using a couple different methods, and that's okay as long as they don't poke the bear too much, all right? Some methods can be used astrally, so that means you can contact someone who is, say, working on the spiritual line of things, and have them connect astrally to get rid of any nasties in the home. I think I've done about maybe 5 or 6 astrally since COVID, to help out some friends. I don't do it very often, only if it seems to be really bad and it seems to be really irritating them. I was doing it quite a bit before COVID, going in and cleaning and clearing people's houses from entities and whatnot. But I think for the most part, because of the fact that the veil, the energy veil between planetary system and universal system is very thin, there's more of a chance of things being able to come through and manifest a little bit more so now than, say, 10, 15 years ago, for certain, easily. It just seems that the energy nowadays has shifted to that point where things are just popping in right on through very easily. And that's why it's very, very important to always have a good protection up on your house, spiritually, energetically, and on yourselves too. It's always a good idea to put it on yourselves. Um, so I hope that made sense as to the definitions between ghosts, poltergeists, impressions, and entities. Each thing has a different vibration too, and I think for the most part, if it was a poltergeist or say a nasty entity, you would feel extremely uncomfortable. You might feel physically ill. You might end up feeling depressed or not your usual self. Your pets would pick up on it for certain. I know that my cat, he knows if there's something going on energy wise. Sometimes my illness gets in the way sometimes, and I'm like, what are you picking up on that I'm not picking up on? And then I kind of have to tune into him to see what's going on. But and usually pets are the first one to pick up on it. Same with small children and babies. They tend to pick up on that type of energy as well. If your home is feeling neutral, or if your home is feeling peaceful, right, then I wouldn't be all up in alarm if you, say, see a premonition of someone walking your hallway or sitting on a couch or hearing glasses clink. To me, that would just mean that there's an impression or someone just popping in to say hello. If you don't feel like you're being like bombarded or under attack, then to me that would mean that whatever's there, that it's just a peaceful mannerism, right? Stagnant spots in the home, okay, they kind of have a kind of like a dead zone to them. So if you say don't use a particular room all that much, okay, for us it's like the workshop. Okay, the workshop has become our like stagnant room. So I have to go in there and put a little bit of energy in there once in a while, so that way I'm like, okay, we're not stagnant there anymore. A stagnant room feels weird. It feels empty. It feels cold. It can feel like there's something in there, but really there isn't. Okay, that energy is completely neutralized. There's nothing going on in that room. There's nothing in there. The best advice I have for neutral rooms is to go in there every once in a while, maybe do some work in there spiritually or, mundanely, clean it up, whatever, right? Maybe place a couple crystals around just to add to the frequency or vibration of that room. Because crystals will amplify a room, right? They will amplify the energy of that room. It's the same with our basement. When we didn't, before we renovated the basement, it was completely a dead zone down here. But as soon as I unpacked everybody, then the room became a happy singing zone. So, I mean, if you do that with a neutral kind of stagnant room that you don't utilize very often, you might feel a change and you might see the difference in it too. These are things to keep in mind in a house, right? Just trying to think of anything else that might come to mind for house-wise. Energy lines in a house, okay? There are energy lines that run in a house. Very much like hydro lines or water mains, okay? Energy lines are just where the energy sits in the house. You can take dowsing rods, okay? They're like little rods. I don't have mine. They're like little, you can use metal rods, what have you. They look like little L shapes, okay? And you hold on to the little end of the L shape, and you can go around your house, and if it crosses over, two dowsing rods cross over, you've met an energy line in your house, okay? If they swing open, right, you're clear to go, all right? So the closed one, I think, the closed one is where you met a closed energy line, and the wide open one is where you met an open energy line. So the energy lines kind of help facilitate the energy in the house, and you can tap into the energy lines into your house in order to facilitate protection or abundance. Very much, if you're into feng shui, you'll be able to kind of understand that a little bit more. I have yet to do any really in-depth feng shui in my research, but I think that those two things go together. At least that's what I'm being told. Those two things go together. Okay, so there you have it. Feng shui and energy lines in your house go together. So there's those aspects too, right? Trying to think here. Neighbors. Yeah. When I was in an apartment setting, okay, the worst thing was having upstairs, downstairs, side-by-side neighbors. Okay. So how do you block that, right? You need to learn, if you know how to shield yourself, okay, you should be able to use that technique on your living abode. But you're going to be amplifying that much, much bigger. And it might zap you a little bit more energy-wise, but that's why you need to tap in to universal energy in order to facilitate that protection over your abode. Okay. Also setting up, once again, crystals, like tourmaline, jet, onyx, all those good boys right there, setting them up against certain walls that you find are very disruptive. Okay. A grounding stone, or what I call sucking stone. The sucking stone. This is fun. So I have a big earthing stone, one found in the woods. Okay. And what it does is it's a sucker. So it sucks any negative energy or any kind of ickies off of people when they come into my front door. Okay. So I would suggest that you go find yourself one if you haven't. They're really good companions. The way to find one is you put that intent out there, ask for a negative eater stone or what have you, whatever your intent is. I just ask for a sucker stone and I find one. They know what I mean by that, sucker stone. And then a stone will call to you eventually if you're walking along a path. And you will feel the vibration, and it's almost like a pulling sensation, like your energy's being pulled into it. Okay, that is the stone that you need to bring home. Okay, that stone will allow you to kind of have a good sense of protection in the way that anybody that comes into your home or even below your home, because usually you'd set like a big sucking stone on the ground, anyone below or coming into your home, that negativity is already being contained, so you don't have to worry about that. So shielding is definitely number one priority, and then your stones, your crystals, number two. Okay, setting up your space to make sure that's a positive environment. Okay, always important. So making sure that your energy is balanced and maintained is also very important as well. Okay, so these are the trademarks. Salting your front door, salting your windows, also keeping things out at bay. Wind chimes are awesome. If you set the intent on a wind chime to ward off evil or ward off bad stuff, it can work. Same with dream catchers. Dream catchers can do that too. Ward off bad spirits. Goodbye bye. Alright? So there's a lot of different tools out there that you can use to assist you with protecting yourself and your home and your environment. Literally Google it up and see what will work for you, right? Because not every tool is going to be right in the process for you, right? It depends on how you feel about that tool and how you want to utilize it, etc., etc., etc. So those are my kind of rambling ons about the differences between those four things and how to kind of make sure that your environment stays protected. You can also use essential oils too, right? Just don't put them on your skin unless you have like a base. So like, you know what I mean. But you can use essential oils on your doors and your windows as well. So once again, dragon's blood is where it's at, I tell you. I think that's about it. So if there's any questions to do with like home protection or about ghosts, entities, things like that, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. And that is my knowledge for today. All right, take care. Much warmth.